Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Well, today we take a look at something a little bit different than I normally would review on the channel. I will be reviewing my first official Transformer toy. For those of you that know me, my love of Transformers probably rivals my love of dinosaurs. So I was super excited to see Hasbro bringing back Beast Wars for the final part of the War for Cybertron Trilogy. Which brings us to the subject of today's review, the Kingdom Core Class Vertebreak. The core class are legend scale figures, and these will be replacing the Battle Masters that we saw in Earthrise and Siege. I ended up pre-ordering this figure from Amazon. I don't think it was supposed to ship until like February or March, but it seems like Kingdom is coming a lot sooner. All my pre-orders just keep getting bumped up every couple weeks to come in earlier, and Vertebreak came in last week, and he retails for $9.99. I'll leave a link in the description to Amazon. So before we take a closer look at this figure, let's just go over the packaging really quick. Comes in the new Kingdom War for Cybertron packaging. You got a beautiful full art picture of Vertebreak on the front of the card, and the artwork is really well done. And up here in the corner, you can see Megatron's Predacon ship crash into the mountainside and then turn it around. You got a couple promotional shots of Vertebreak in his robot mode and Dinosaur skeleton mode. So enough about the packaging. Let's take a look at Vertebreak. So moving on to Vertebreak. Vertebreak is a dinosaur skeleton that turns into a robot, which is pretty cool. It's part of a new addition to the line, the Fossilizers. The larger ones that we're getting in the deluxe line, like Paleorex and Raconite, are very similar to the weaponizers that we saw in the previous lines. They can break down into weapons and armor, but unfortunately this little core class Fossilizer does not break down into weapons, which is kind of a disappointment. It would have been kind of cool if the head could like turn into like a hammer or like a battle mace, but anyways, it is still a cool figure. It's modeled after a skeleton of a Pachycephalosaur. More specifically, the skull shape is a Dracorex, or technically a juvenile Pachycephalosaurus. And there's a lot of really nice sculpted detail on this figure. You can see there's a lot of nice sculpt work on the skull. You got the orbit right here. You got all the bumps and knobs along the top of the dome. There is some paint apps on here. The main body is just cast in this really dark gray plastic, but you do have some brown paint along the snout, the feet, the upper thighs, and the end of the tail. But yeah, definitely a cool looking figure. Not accurate at all. We're not going to talk about accuracy because this is a dinosaur that turns into a robot. Like the shoulder blade is too far down, and the hind feet are very, very theropod looking. But yeah, I really like this thing. When I saw these fossilizers coming out, I was definitely intrigued because, you know, dinosaurs and Transformers, it is a match made in the Matrix. And the skeleton mode does look good overall. No real kibble hanging off it, except for the back over here. His hands are kind of cupping his butthole area, but articulation, figure does have some decent articulation for being such a small figure. The mouth can open and close, and all this lower jaw is made out of a very soft, flexible rubber piece. When I got this out of the packaging, the jaw would not move at all. I had to just use some hot water to loosen that joint up. There's a joint just behind the base of the skull, which allows the head to look up almost completely straight, which is part of the transformation, but we'll get to that later. And it can look down a little bit. No articulation for the front arms. Going down to the legs can move almost 300, actually they can move 360 degrees. And then at the knee, you get some nice bend at the knee, and then the ankles are on a ball joint, so you get some nice pivot and rotation. And that is pretty much it for articulation. Let's move on to a couple quick comparisons before we move on to transformation. Let's do a couple quick comparisons. Here it is with its wave mate core class Rat Trap, and here it is with Earthrise Ratchet, and here it is with Earthrise Alicon. These two look really cool next to each other. And here's a couple other non-Transformer figures. Here it is with the Beast of the Mesozoic, Medusa Ceratops, and lastly, here it is with the Papo Giganotosaurus that just wants to give this little fossilizer a hug. Now, moving on to transformation, what you want to do first is remove the tail. Yes, there is some parts forming, the dirty P word to us Transformers collectors. And then next you want to just pop open the top of the back, straighten out the legs, and then you want to just open up the rib cage and then swing the arms out there on a little swivel joint right here and just get the arms all nice and straight. And then keeping this back part open, you want to swing down the head to form the chest and swing down this panel that came up with it. And then just pop up his little robot head, close the back, and you are done. And here is Vertebreak in his robot mode. So yeah, really like this robot mode, and he can use his tail as a weapon. It can plug into his hand to use as a battle mace, and there's a couple of vertebrae stick out right here, and you can just plug them into the back for weapon storage. And you can tell by the emblem on his chest that Vertebreak is a Predacon, and I think I read somewhere that Scorponok, how Kingdom turns out, I have no idea how they're going to have the Beast Wars characters interact with the G1 characters, most likely time travel, but I read somewhere that Scorponok is like resurrecting ancient dinosaur skeletons to fight in Megatron's army. I don't know how true that is. I just remember reading that on one of the Facebook pages. So let's zoom in and take a closer look at Vertebreak in his robot mode. You can see the head is cast in this dark brown plastic. The eyes are painted in red, and his mouth and nose are painted in a nice silver paint. And then going down to the chest, you can see more of that brown plastic with some nice silver paint and a beautifully printed Predacon logo. His forearms are also cast in that brown plastic, and you can see the sticky mullet head forms his crotch region, and then you can see some more of that brown paint for his legs. So yeah, he is definitely a really cool looking figure. I love the transformation on it. You got all those back vertebrae and ribs in his arms for the back of the figure. So pretty, not a lot of kibble on the back. I think it looks quite nice. And for articulation on him, his head can rotate from side to side. It's on a little bit of a ball joint, so you can wiggle the head around to get some different looks, and then the arms can move up and they can rotate 360 degrees. You have a ball joint at the elbow, which allows up and down and side to side movement. No wrist articulation. Then going down to the hips, he can do a split, and his feet can move forwards that far and backwards pretty far. And then you have a joint at the knee. You can get about a 90-degree bend at the knee, no forward movement at the knee, and then the feet are on a ball joint, so you get some nice ankle tilts right here. So yeah, pretty stable figure, and like I said, you can put his weapon in one of his hands to have him smacking around some Maximals. Alright, let's move on with some comparisons. First up is his Wave Mate Core Class Rat Trap, and next up is Generations Rhinox, and next up is, and Rhinox fell over, that figure is so floppy. Here he is with Earthrise Ratchet, and here he is with Earthrise Alicon, and lastly, here he is with my favorite Transformer character of all time, Voyager Earthrise Starscream. So final thoughts on Vertebreak, Dinosaurs, and Transformers. Yes, please, this figure is highly recommended. I like the simple transformation on it. Has some really good articulation for being a $10 figure. Looks great with Rat Trap. I'm super excited for the rest of the line. Kingdom looks like it's going to be absolutely fantastic. Some of the figures just look absolutely awesome, like that Beast Wars Megatron, which I will be reviewing on the channel. I'll actually be reviewing most of the prehistoric figures that come out in this wave. And if you guys want me to review the other Beast Wars figures like Rat Trap and Optimus Prime, and when those come out, let me know in the comments, because like I said, I love dinosaurs and Transformers, so incorporating a little bit of Transformers into the channel would make me very happy. But I don't want to really break the theme of the channel, since it's all dinosaur and prehistoric animals, by doing some of the vehicle mode Transformers. So I'm happy right now just doing the Beast War figures. So yeah, just let me know what you think about that in the comments. So that will do it for the review. Like I said, pick this guy up off of Amazon. I'll leave the link in the description. And I still got a couple more Beast of the Mesozoic Ceratopsians to review, some Rebar stuff in PNSO. So be on the lookout for those. And as always, if you're enjoying the content on this channel, show your support by hitting that subscription button just below the video. Each subscription helps out the channel tremendously, and it's greatly appreciated. And I'll see you guys for the next one.